This is Brian, and welcome back to this commentary playthrough of Final Fantasy III for the NES. So we got the Fire Crystal here. We defeated all of the bosses in the Crystal Ruins here. So I guess it's time to just head on towards the end. I can just go ahead and use my strongest magic, because I'm going to use an elixir before I enter the final area anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot to re-equip. But even without weapons, the ninjas aren't too bad on damage. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna equip them just to get out of here, but before I go into the final battle, I'm gonna put shurikens on them anyway. We'll only have enough for everybody to go with the first round, though. I only have 6 left. So I guess I'll hope they can either do decent damage without it, or we'll have to rely on Bahamut, I guess, to finish it off. Alright, so yeah, it was pretty fast to get out of here with those shortcuts. Alright, if I'm lucky, maybe this will be my last random encounter. Or at most, 1 or 2 more, I suppose. And that should have restored all my magic, I'll just double check. Yep. So 18 Bahamuts. If needed. And we do still have a room here. I don't know if there are random encounters anymore in this area. But I guess... oh, well, that answered that pretty quickly. Double D! Don't mind me some double Ds once in a while. Hopefully he's not as tough as the two-headed dragon we had to fight. He wasn't. Huh. Yeah, this is another place where they have hidden paths, basically. So you're just gonna have to kind of walk around if you don't know the way. I think... no, that wasn't it. Guess maybe I could have waited to use my elixir, but just in case we initiate the battle sooner than I intended, at least I'm stocked up now. Maybe we can just go... okay, yeah, we can just go across there. Here, I think you can go straight up for a little while, yeah. And this one loops around to here. Alright. Well, that could be it. Gonna go ahead and put the shurikens on. And another thing, I guess, if you, oh, well, that's fine. I think if you use the shurikens, you can attack from the back row and do just as much damage. But I'm only gonna have enough for one turn anyway. They're just so expensive that it does make it kind of hard. But unless you wanted to level up probably like another 5 levels or so, they seem pretty necessary. I guess unless you want to go with a party of 3 sages, because then you could use Bahamut on all 3 of them. If you bought the spells for Bahamut. Alright, so we do go up another staircase here yet. I think all that's here though is the Dark Cloud, basically. Oh, well, it's a longer room than I thought, but... I am the Dark Cloud. I will turn both this world and your world of light back into utter void. We won't let you do that. Ha ha ha. This is the Dark World. I cannot be defeated here with the power of light. It's not just the Light Warriors. We'll hold off your dark power. What? You do that, you'll perish. We will not allow you to return this world to the void. So, the Dark Warrior sacrificed himself to weaken the Dark Cloud, I guess. I'm glad we didn't have to do that. The power of the Dark Crystals is lost, but I don't need it anymore. I'll defeat you, and then turn this world into void with your power of light. Perish, Light Warriors. Alright. Give it your best shot, Dark Cloud. An interesting character design. Are those supposed to be like snakes or clouds of evil coming off of her? I guess I'm not sure. And I guess I'll start using haste too to help my physical attackers for when they're out of their shurikens. I think it'll probably be worth it to do that instead of just using Bahamut right away. I wouldn't worry as much about it if I had more shurikens. Since he's already hasted, I am just going to give him 2 of the strongest weapons. Wait. There we go. No, I'll wait another turn. Let's go ahead and haste again. And let's go ahead and give him the last shuriken. Alright. Take that, bitch. Yeah, too bad it didn't go off before he attacked. Yeah. That flare wave does so much, though. I think I can attack another round. Let's use a Cure 4 on everybody. And then I'll have to probably start using elixirs on everybody. Damn it. I hope I didn't hold up too long to start healing here. She might take out one or two of us if she gets to attack before my elixirs go off. Okay. Most worried about Ark, and of course he's going to be the last one. Yeah, that might get him. Oh yeah, okay. Live to fight another day. Better start throwing out some Bahamut. Get some good damage in. Yeah. Certainly not an easy fight, even though I did level up quite a bit. Oh, music's cutting out. I think we got her. Unless there's another form, I hope not. I think that's gonna be it. Kind of weird that the music all cut completely. Let's see how long of an ending they give us. In the beginning was the void, then light and dark were made. Everything was born, then star, moon, water, fire, and life. But life gave birth to something more, dividing the light and dark, an energy called hope. Punctuation's a little weird. When light and dark overlap, and all would return to void, for to divide them shall appear. Never forget that their power is the hope of the people. Time washes away all, dreams, despair, love, but do not be swept away. Look instead to that place. It's just scrolling automatically, so I'm kind of reading fast to make sure I get through all of it. To the light which shines after all else is gone. Hope. Kind of looks like an old screensaver for your computer. Alright, so our 5 rays of light that were holding back the demon dragons are there. Hey everybody! Luneth, Raphia, Ark, Ingus! You did it! You really did it! I knew you were the real thing! Aren't they amazing? Come on, everyone. Let's go home. Alright. Guess no more random encounters now that it's controlling it on its own. Oh, they don't show it jumping over the mountain? Why is it shaking so much? Thanks, old man. It was nothing. Well, I guess it's time to go back to Amur. So it was just the one old man? Wonder how they picked. They all look the same. Hello, everyone. Thank God you're safe. What are you talking about? It was a cinch. Thanks to you, the world has been saved. Ha! Whenever you run into trouble, count on us. Come see us anytime. You can train with us. Ho ho ho. Farewell. So yeah, I guess that's going to be most of the ending, is taking all these characters back to their towns or castles or whatever. It's Salonia. I'm home. Thank you, Prince Aulus. King Aulus. Your hearts of light saved the world. It is we who should say thanks to you. I'll never forget the courage you've taught me. Truly, thank you so much. Oh, now we're on the Nautilus? I suppose it's faster. Suppose that's why they did that? I don't know, it seems weird. I don't think we've ever actually seen inside the Nautilus. Not much there. We're approaching Canaan. We're almost there? I'm sure Granny's waiting. I'm getting off there too. Dash? Why are you going to Canaan? Arena. Oh, so you're going to see that girl. Cut it out. You're embarrassing me. There's Granny. Granny! Don't do that. I'm shy of hugging people in front of people. Oh, wow. Serena! Dash, don't leave me ever again. Never. We'll be together forever. Granny! Now what are you doing? You're hugging me. Oh, I give up. People. Oh, sorry. Did I show off too much? Call me when you go on your next adventure. Oh, no you don't. Yes, don't let her get under your thumb. Don't let her get you under her thumb. Shut up. Come visit us anytime. Granny will cook you up a special meal. Thanks. Later, Sid. Dash. Alright. So now we're gonna go back to Sarah's place where, yeah, we'll see what happens, huh? Princess Sarah, let's go back to Sassoon Castle. No, I don't want to. I want to have fun with you a bit more. Don't go back just yet. Huh? But Princess, don't be so dull. I want to be with you a little while longer. Why are you blushing? Come on, let's go back to Ur. Yeah, I bet she wants to be with him a little longer. It looks like the whole village is ready there to welcome us home. It's Ur! We're finally home. Let's go! Welcome home. Luna, Raphia, Art, Angus, welcome home. Hi, Dad, Mom, we did it. Well done. Truly well done. You worked so hard. Welcome back. You saved the world. You really were the Light Warriors. I'll give you this as thanks. A kiss from a dancer, huh? Hey! So, yeah, you can see Sarah's jealous. The world has been freed from darkness thanks to your hearts of light. Thank you, Light Warriors. Why is it shaking? Is there another earthquake? The light! Crystal has returned to its place. Beautiful. The darkness parts and light shines upon the world. It's a new dawn. They gonna show us the light? Everything turned blue. And it just goes out to a different aerial shot. Okay, it's going to show the crystal coming up, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of annoyingly bright. Now, is it time for credits, or what else do we got here? Yep, credit time, I guess. Now, first they're going to show our characters, huh? I suppose it's... Okay, so they tell you the level. Level 59 for Luneth. Probably about all the same. Yeah, level 58 for Refia, so she was one behind. I don't know if all the guys got up to 59 or not. And it shows them as the last job you had them in. Arc level 59. And Ingus level 59. Yep. Oh, I didn't quite get up to level 60, but we were pretty close. And I about needed all of it. And Sarah. Guess Luneth's gonna be the king, because I think she wants to marry him. Old man Sid. Desh. I don't know what I think about Desh. Elia, that's the one that sacrificed herself at the water crystal. The 4 old men. They look a lot different there. Alice. Looks too young to be a king. Orga. Who's next, I suppose. Yep, there she is, with her parrot on her shoulder. Now the credits. Yeah. You're gonna show all the jobs? Yeah, looks like it. Fighters, black wizards, white wizards. Red wizards, which, yeah, I used one of those very early on in the game, but never again after that. Monk, was it? Scholars, didn't use them very much either. Used a hunter for a little while, so we did see that. The knight had one of those for quite a while. Bard, I think? Never used one of them. Or maybe that was the thief. Yeah, that was probably the thief. That's the bard. I did use a thief for a little bit. Geomancer, I think. I never used one, so I'm not 100% certain. The Viking, we did use one of them for a little bit. The Dragoon, yep, we used them for that one part at least, and I used another one for a little while later. That's the Karateka. Conjurer, I think. The Mystic Knight. They were decent once you got their equipment. Warlock, yeah, the upgrade from the Black Wizard. We didn't use them very long because we didn't get it until later. Same thing with the Shaman there. And then the Ninja. I guess the Sage is going to be the ultimate one that they show us. Yep. Yeah, so there were only 2 or 3 of them that I didn't really use. The end. Well, I did write down some notes, so we'll give a quick little review from my thoughts of the game. I made a list of some pros and some cons. So first of all, some things that I really liked about the game. I like to see the intro of the job system. Obviously, it wasn't fully fleshed out yet, but I think they still did a pretty good job with it here, making each job have its own unique abilities or statistics or equipment. So it made them feel, useful for the most part. Like the thief didn't have much use, but you could open locked doors and you could equip certain things that other people couldn't. Um, yeah, the red wizard wasn't really that useful other than equipping some of those swords that you couldn't with other people. And I mean, if you like to be able to wield both types of magic, it's kind of nice. The end game ones, the ninja and the shaman, they kind of make them overpowered with the ability to equip everything and to, well, I mean, for the ninja and then for the sage to be able to use all the magic. I mean, I suppose that's nice, but it did kind of limit your flexibility with which classes you were going to use at the end, because it would have been pretty tough to get through with any other combination, it seems like. Unless you wanted to grind for really high levels and job levels. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I like the job system. They did it a lot better in later games. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy V had the job classes, and they did a better job there, but I mean, that's expected. But one that I think did a really great job with job systems, even though the game has a lot of flaws, but I really like the battle system and the job system, Final Fantasy X too. As far as the story and, I don't know, some of the characters and stuff, it was one of my favorites from that respect. But just playing through the game and doing the battles and maxing out job skills and all that, I love the game for that. But yeah, we're not talking about that one here. Tangent too far there. The next topic I have is the travel. This game did have a surprising amount of different modes of transportation for an early game, especially. Like, we got an airship almost right away, even though we blew it up pretty quickly. And what did we end up with? 4 different airships? Because we had the first airship, I don't know if it even had a name. And we had the Enterprise, Invincible, the Nautilus. Yeah, and then the Nautilus worked as a submarine also, and the Enterprise was a ship and an airship. So that was kind of nice to see. Well, and plus we got the old canoe also, just like in Final Fantasy 1. So I kind of like the way they did that. I wish the Enterprise or the Invincible was faster, because once you got it, you're kind of spoiled from having the Nautilus, which traveled around so quickly. But other than that, I'd still say that was a positive. Airships in the game. What else do we got? The dungeons in this game, light for the most part, because they weren't as long as some of the ones in Final Fantasy II. So I guess not to necessarily say they're great, but to say they're better than Final Fantasy II, which that was one of the worst parts of that game, I thought, were the dungeons. But there were several different dungeons, and they were a little better in variety in this game, so they stepped their game up as far as that went when they were designing them. The music is another thing I always like in these games, and one of my favorite boss themes was probably the one in this game. Just compared to this with all the Final Fantasy games, this one still sticks out to me. I'm not sure exactly what it is about it, but it's just banging. Could just sit and listen to that one for several minutes repeatedly. What else do we got? Compared to some other, especially NES type of RPGs, I thought they did a good job of balancing the amount of money you received and the amount of experience you received from enemy battles. So, like, you never got to the point, well, except maybe at the end, where you needed to just stop and grind to get money. Like in Final Fantasy 1, I felt like I was doing that a lot. And in 2, at some points, it was like that. But I didn't really have trouble buying most of the stuff I needed, or at least getting the money that I needed to fairly quickly in this one, and maybe part of that was because you found a lot of stuff that you wanted to use just in treasure chests along the way and stuff. But overall, I thought it was pretty good on balancing for that. So I'll give it a plus for that. Side quests, we hadn't really seen too much of those up to this point in the series, but they did put some of that in here. I mean, it wasn't that fleshed out, but I give them credit for at least starting to try and do more of that. Because, I mean, we had the Undersea Cave where there was a bunch of treasure you could find, and then getting Odin and Leviathan and Bahamut and their different layers or whatever. That was all side stuff that you didn't have to do. So it added to it and gave us something extra to do. And I suppose technically Fargabad was side material, but I don't know how you'd make it through the other regular areas if you didn't get that equipment for your Mystic Knights. So I'd also put that in the plus column, side quest material. The last major positive point I wanted to hit on was the variety of equipment and magic. I thought they did a pretty good job with that, too. A lot of the magic spells you see in a lot of these games, so I mean, it's not like they had anything too different, but adding in summoning was a big thing, and I thought they did that pretty well. Other than the fact that I suppose maybe once you got a summoner or a sage, some of those spells were kind of overpowered, but depending on your playstyle, that might be okay for you. But I'm not going to knock it for that. I think overall it was a good introduction to that, and magic was just good overall. I suppose a negative I would say about magic is I don't necessarily like the fact that you had to buy the spell for each character. Like I wish, and I think they did this in 5 for their job system. Once you got the magic spell, you just had it. So everybody who used that job could use that spell if you had bought or found the spell. So, I mean, that's one slight knock on it. I suppose they could have done that a little better. Now, for some of the things I didn't like so much in the game, or some other things. I mean, I mentioned about the magic, but that's just a small thing. I didn't like how some of the dungeons or some of the areas kind of force you to use certain jobs to get through. Like, I get what they're going for, that they want to try to make you use a combination of jobs and not just keep the same ones on through the game. But mostly all that did was it forced you to change into a job, like mages when you needed to be tiny, or dragoons to face Garuda. But then you just switch back to the jobs you liked after that anyway. But like I said, I get why they did it, because it was like, hey, let's force you to do this, and then maybe you'll end up liking that job and you'll want to stick with it. But I think it's better to just give people the ability to choose for themselves and experiment as they wish. But hey, I didn't write the game, and I think it's still a good game. It's just a slight nitpick. And there were a couple of places that had some difficulty spikes. I never really liked that kind of thing. It can be done rather well to like let you know that you need to do some leveling. But when you've gone through like several hours of the game and you're getting through fine and you're raising a few levels here and there as you go, and then suddenly you get to an area where it's like, wow, can't survive like 2 fights without getting wiped out. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of ridiculous to me. One of the areas was the end, obviously. That's mostly because, well, and that'll lead me to, I guess, one of my other negatives about the game is the final dungeon area. It was like 3 separate dungeons, and you couldn't save after you started going through it. At least not once you started heading up the tower. There was no place to save it anymore. And I mean, that's a long way to go. Got about a solid hour of gameplay left to get to the end. And if you end up dying to one of the final bosses or one of the crystal bosses there, just got to start over. Unless you're emulating and have save states or something. But back in the day, if you were playing this on the NES cartridge, I guess Famicom, since it only came out in Japan. Yeah, I mean, that's I think what they could have done is they could have given you like an area to be able to save your game once you got to the Dark World or something. But I mean, they didn't have saving inside of dungeons, and you always had to be on the world map to save it, so I guess I understand that. It's just something I wish they could have changed a little bit. And another thing about the difficulty spike, I suppose, leads me to another one of my points, that one of the other areas that had a difficulty spike that I didn't like was mostly due in part to those enemies that divide once you attack them, unless you have a Mystic Knight with the Dark Sword. Yeah, I really did not enjoy that mechanic. And I don't think they really brought that back, or not to this extent in other games. So they must have realized that it didn't go over too well, I guess. But yeah, when you hit an enemy and it splits every time you hit it, yeah, it's just very annoying. Even if they were weaker enemies, that would still annoy me. But yeah, when they're tougher and they can wipe you out, well, that's a game changer at that point. The last thing that I wanted to mention kind of relates to the side quests, and this is a negative to me. The fact that you could buy more copies of the best summons in the game once you got to the end kind of negates the importance or the usefulness of the side quests to some extent, because you wouldn't have even had to gone to fight Bahamut. You could just buy Bahamut's summon at the end. I don't know. Kind of cheapens the experience of the side quest and going through Bahamut's cave and fighting him, I think. But yeah, overall, at the end of the world, it's still a really great game, and I wish I could have played it when it first came out. But I was happy going to play it again and the different versions. If you have the DS version, I think it is, that has an extra dungeon underwater, so you could have some post-game material. But yeah, I would rank this, as far as the total all Final Fantasy games, it would be somewhere in the middle. Probably in the bottom half, but close to the middle for me. Once I get through more of the games, I might eventually rank the games. Kind of tough to do because some of my favorites kind of switch once in a while depending on how I'm feeling. So we'll see. Numerically in the series, the next one would be Final Fantasy IV, which was... Now, it came out here in the United States as Final Fantasy II for the SNES. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to deviate slightly. And I'm going to put one of the side games in first. So I'm going to go next to Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I know a lot of people don't really consider that to be a Final Fantasy game necessarily. And it was made more as a, an introduction to RPGs for a lot of people, so it's not very hard, but it's also not that long. So I think I should be able to get through that one fairly quickly. And I do still enjoy it, even though it's not, as sophisticated or, maybe even as much of a Final Fantasy game, but it is called Final Fantasy, so I'm going to keep it in with the Final Fantasy games here. So look out for that to start tomorrow. And we'll go ahead and call it there for today. Anyway, if you've been enjoying the content so far, please like, comment, subscribe, or follow, and we'll catch you next time.